Hello, my name is Joel Rodriguez, and I will be providing the digital forensics expert testimony for Team 4 New Zealand Haitama. In today's agenda, I will begin by showing the tools used for this investigation and also an overview for Project 1 Global Economic Summit, Project 2 Nations Behaving Badly, Project 3 Lockdown, and conclude by answer expert testimony questions. The tools used for this investigation are IP2 Nation, Alien Vault Open Threat Exchange, SCAP Workbench, Nessus, Snort, Wireshark, CryptTool 2, Offcrack, Our Secret. These tools are validated for use in court, otherwise the evidence will not be admissible. Project 1 Global Economic Summit. The New Zealand Cybersecurity Incident Response Team was tasked with performing a baseline analysis for creating a secure communication network for New Zealand at the 5i Global Economic Summit. The team was tasked with this after several instances of anomalous network activity were detected with respect to the confidentiality of communications and intelligence collection sources. The assessment included an examination of the internal and external cyber environments and resulted in a cybersecurity policy and baseline analysis report as the final deliverable. The report addressed the current cyber posture and legal standings of New Zealand and its international cyber relations. Project 2 Nations Behaving Badly. Even with the cyber management team's works in system designs, network security protocols, training, policy implementation, and monitoring, the United States reported data exfiltration at the Global Economic Summit. The U.S. Intrusion Detection System alerted the nations of the potential attack, and the other 5i nations were quickly notified. The secure communication channels set up for the summit were compromised and every nation was at risk. New Zealand performed forensic analysis and collected corroborating data to identify the bad actor. The Chief Information Security Officer requested a cybersecurity risk assessment, incident response plan, service level agreement, 5i indicator sharing report, and a final forensic report as deliverables. This report will be used by the CISO and other nations to provide attribution and prepare for future attacks during the summit. Project 3 Lockdown. Our team was tasked to clear the network from the anomalous activity that was detected on our nation's servers. We cleared infected devices from the ransomware and shared the result with the 5i nations. After assessing the experienced attack at the summit, our New Zealand cyber team was tasked to develop a business continuity plan to prevent future incursions to the network. This business continuity plan provided guidance and helped develop policies to ensure an easier transition after an attack was experienced. We also provided an evaluation of the software development lifecycle to ensure all processes and product meet requirements to improve security and avoid future breaches. Another requested deliverable were a cyber operation and risk management briefing and a situation report of the findings. All of these reports were compiled and presented in the intelligence debriefing. In the end, we created a lessons learned video and recommend the next step for computer security incident response to the CISO. Expert testimony questions. What are the legal challenges associated with cyber incidents involving foreign countries? How do internal laws affect e-discovery? Reference and discuss all international laws that may influence a forensic investigation in the country that your team is assigned. The main challenge the country faces in regards to cyber incidents is that cyber laws differ from country to country. Data protection laws are governed by regions within the country, meaning the legal process in our country can be illegal at the one we intend to extract evidence. Internal laws do affect e-discovery, as in some countries have different regulations within the country's region. For example, let's look at United States jurisdiction policy. What it is legal in one state, for example, the use of marijuana, it is illegal in other states in the US. This also applies to private data in different regions across the world. It is important to be knowledgeable of all laws in the crime scene to avoid unnecessary sanctions. Second question, what are the legal challenges of accessing and retrieving electronic evidence stored on foreign soil? Assuming cloud storage was used, what procedures were followed to access and retrieve digital evidence stored in the cloud? The important thing to remember when attempting to collect digital evidence that is stored in foreign soil is that laws must be followed in regards to where the evidence is stored, not by the owner's location. A good example is when you have a cyber criminal located in your country, say New Zealand, but the data is stored in Russia. We can just not extract the evidence without following all laws and regulations of the country to avoid complications or ultimately diplomatic issues. This has to be requested through government law enforcement agreements and could take months to be authorized. Nevertheless, cloud customers and providers have a privacy agreement with a set of rules and caveats that must be understood by the investigator prior to attempt to extract any evidence. Question number 3. Specific to the country, what that your team was assigned, how did the international laws and jurisdictions influence the process and procedures followed by during the forensic investigation? A New Zealand Privacy Act of 2020 influenced what personal information must be excluded from the investigation by the Privacy Commissioner and the approved information sharing agreements. Also, there is the Intelligence and Security Act of 2017. This act allows the intelligence and security agencies to act as necessary to protect New Zealand and New Zealand interests with appropriate limitation and robust oversight, applying across all of the agency's activities. The Act sets out the functions, power, and duties of the agency and empowers the contribute to their objective while acting in accordance with New Zealand law and human rights obligations. Also, we follow ISO 27037 column 2012. This one provides guidelines for specific activities in the handling of digital evidence, which are identification, collection, acquisition, and preservation of potential digital evidence that can be of beneficial value. These laws were used during the forensic investigation to guide procedures and processes for the country of New Zealand. Question number 4. What conflicts arose between ethics and international laws during the forensic investigation? How did these conflicts affect the investigation? How were the conflicts mitigated or resolved? The Five Eyes Nations share international cyber policies to help engage in collaboration with other allied governments with some minor variations. The New Zealand Surveillance Act placed a restriction where the collaboration or gathering of evidence can only be shared with allied law enforcement and not with intelligence agencies. All these issues were resolved with the use and request of warrants as stated in the Surveillance Act, unless national security of the New Zealand seemed to be compromised if shared. Information should be shared at the Five Eyes Summit in accordance with the with each country's applicable laws and regulations, as well as the NIST Special Publication 800-150 Guide to Cyber Threat Information Sharing. NIST Special Publication 800-150 provides guidelines for establishing and participating in cyber threat information sharing relationships. Question number 5. What steps were taken to protect United States soil and citizens during the international investigation? Describe any risk to the country, businesses, or citizens from your investigation. The 5I allows the collaboration of allied nations to disseminate information to their critical infrastructure organization by allowing the configuration of network security controls be implemented to avoid specific attacks. To help protect U.S. citizens during the investigation, we follow the guidelines provided by the NIST, the Special Publication 800-150. Not following this could result in a large-scale combat between troubled nations if not followed as stated in regulations. I am more than welcome to answer any other questions. If there is no other question, this concludes my expert testimony.